Hello and welcome to the Friday, May 15th edition of the Eastern Idaho Planning Briefing. My name's Alex from the National Weather Service in Pocatello. I'll take you through the briefing today. We'll start it off here with our weather impact summary over the next several days. Starting off with today, we'll see some showers and isolated thunderstorms today, mainly over higher terrain areas. Some frosty conditions are appearing likely Saturday morning for the northern Snake Plain, and a frost advisory has been issued for those areas. Pushing ahead now into next week, we have increasing confidence of a strong low-pressure system that is expected to move through the area. And that low-pressure system could bring some significant rainfall amounts, particularly to the central Idaho mountains. Some snow, mainly above 8,000 feet, and also a significant cool-down beginning on Wednesday. Now, despite the fact that this is several days out, we have higher than normal confidence, moderate to high confidence in this situation. At this point. Now there could still be some slight changes to the forecast, and we'll continue to refine the impact potential, but certainly rises on area rivers and streams seems like a given the significant precipitation amounts that are expected. We'll show you some river forecasts and also the 7-day precipitation forecast in a few slides. Taking a look at the current satellite view this morning, let's start closer to home here on the right side of the screen. Beneath the text box here, you can see some of these blues and whites, indicative of the higher moisture content associated with a low-pressure system that's currently moving through Nevada. And that will focus the shower activity this afternoon across the southern highlands. You can see another little wave here over Montana that'll focus the showers and isolated thunderstorm activity this afternoon across the northern half of the eastern highlands and the Montana border area. Okay, shifting back to the left part of the screen now, we can see this broad area of low pressure over the Pacific and all of this moisture associated with it here in these blues and greens. Now farther south, you notice these white colors. That's showing some enhanced moisture extending all the way into the tropical Pacific. And as this low approaches the western U.S. over the weekend, it will bring that tropical moisture into the western portion of the United States. So the low will only very slowly move eastward through Monday and then begin to accelerate, moving across northern Nevada for Monday night. And then by Tuesday, the expectation is that the low will move directly over central Idaho. Looking at the weather impact overview matrix, again, showers for mainly this afternoon. A few lighter showers possible this morning near the Wyoming border, but most of the shower activity will be later this afternoon. And the thunderstorm threat is mostly confined to the upper Snake Plain, say the Island Park area south towards Palisades roughly. We don't expect any severe thunderstorms today, but some gusty winds could be possible with a stronger storm. A generally quiet weekend is in the forecast for East Idaho, with the exception of the frost conditions expected over the northern Snake Plain for Saturday morning. Now, things will become much more active as we get into next week. First off, breezy to windy southerly winds are expected on Monday. It could maybe result in some patchy blowing dust. We'll have to watch that potential as it gets closer. The windy conditions also across the higher terrain areas. And showers and thunderstorms will develop during the afternoon over the Lost River, Wood River, Sawtooth, and Lemhi County areas. And that activity will extend into Tuesday and even beyond into Wednesday as well. Depending on the nature of the anticipated impacts as we get closer, we may need to increase the level here from yellow to orange. But at this early stage, we'll go with yellow just to point your attention to the potential for higher impacts here during this period. Outside of the central mountain, the overall precipitation amounts will be lighter, but nonetheless, the shower and thunderstorm potential will extend to all of East Idaho by the time we get into Tuesday, particularly in the afternoon hours by then. Starting off our graphics here with the low temperature forecast for tomorrow morning, and it makes sense that we have the frost advisory in place. I'll kind of outline these areas here where the low temperature is forecast to get down near freezing. That includes, say, the northern half of the Arco Desert, INL, towards Rexburg, Ashton, and DuBois, sort of in this area here is where the temperatures will approach freezing. So we're not expecting widespread below freezing temperatures. We're not expecting a hard freeze, but certainly some frost is a potential, and so we have the frost advisory in effect for those reasons. High temperatures today will remain on the cool side, roughly 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. That's not going to last very long, though. Fast forwarding to Sunday, we'll start to develop that warm southerly flow as that low pressure system approaches the Oregon coast, and so that's going to bring in some warmer temperatures for us, getting well into the 80s across eastern Magic Valley, southern Snake Plain, and our valleys across the South Hills region. These values are about 10 to 15 degrees above average for this time of year. The warmer conditions will linger into Monday, but will gradually cool conditions down for Tuesday and cool them down significantly for Wednesday. Now temperatures here are back to 10 to 15 degrees below average again for Wednesday, with this cooler regime lasting through the rest of next week. Now we'll warm up a couple of degrees on Thursday, a couple more degrees on Friday, but closing out next week, it appears temperatures will be below average. Now here's the 7-day precipitation forecast that goes through the 21st. You can see these yellow areas here is where the expectation for up to 1 inch of rain is possible. And in some of these orange areas here, 1 to 2 inches of rain with some mountain snow mixed in above 8,000 feet. So fairly significant precipitation potential. There is room for this to possibly go up as we get closer. So Custer, Blaine, Lemhi counties in the crosshairs potentially for the heavier rainfall for the Monday through Wednesday time period. And that will lead to some rises on rivers. Here's the forecast for the Henry's Fork near Rexburg. By this time next week, approaching action stage, or otherwise known as bankful, and with rises continuing even beyond. Now, of course, this will be sensitive to the ultimate amount of rainfall, so this could go up or down as we get closer to the event. The Big Wood River at Hailey is also forecast to reach bankful by the middle of next week. We mentioned the breezy conditions today. In the yellow areas here, wind gusts approaching or exceeding 30 miles per hour across the Arco Desert craters of the moon. And then a few slides ago, we mentioned the breezy conditions developing on Wednesday. Some southerly winds solidly in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range for the yellow and orange areas here. Maybe some gusts approaching 45, so there could certainly be some patchy blowing dust across portions of the Snake Plain on Monday as a result of that. So, reiterating the weather impact summary, showers and isolated thunderstorms, particularly this afternoon, and mainly across the higher terrain areas. Can't rule out a sneaky shower across the Snake Plain. Frosty conditions necessitating a frost advisory for the upper Snake Plain for Saturday morning. And as we touched on, confidence is on the increase for the potential for a significant precipitation event for the Monday through Wednesday time frame, especially across the central Idaho mountains for next week. That concludes the briefing for today. We welcome any comments, questions, or feedback you might have to the phone number, email, social media channels you see here. Otherwise, please join us again Saturday morning for the latest updates on our storm potential for next week. Thank you.